Welcome to another deep dive. And this one, this one is going to take us down a musical rabbit hole. We're about to explore Alma Errante
Alma Errante.
and their album Caminho de Saudade,
Okay.
which translates to,
Path of Longing.
Path of Longing.
Yeah.
And I am so excited to unpack this, so to speak, with you.
I know. This is one of those ones that I think it's going to be interesting to see how people react to it once they realize what's going on.
Exactly. So let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
Alma Errante, it's a band.
Well, and that's where it gets a little tricky.
Okay.
It's not a band in the traditional sense.
Okay.
It's a fictional band created by a company called TATANKA.
Hold on. A fictional band. So,
A fictional band.
like, they don't exist.
No, they do not exist.
Yeah.
They're completely
Oh, wow.
a figment of the imagination, so to speak.
Okay.
But the company, TATANKA, they have gone, above and beyond to create a whole world around this band.
Mm.
So you've got individual bios for each band member. You've got backstories, influences. There's detailed album reviews. It's like they breathed life into this band,
Okay.
even though they're not real.
Okay, so my mind is already blown.
Yeah.
Let me just kind of recap here.
Yeah.
So we have a band that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
They've got this very meticulously crafted backstory,
Yes.
and they have an album about longing and loss.
That's right.
So what is the music actually like?
Well, the music is really interesting because it is a blend they're calling fado indie rock. Okay. Which is...
That sounds very intriguing.
It's intriguing, and it kind of makes sense once you hear it.
Okay.
But basically, it is a fusion of traditional Portuguese fado music
Okay.
with modern and, sometimes experimental sounds of indie rock.
Okay. Break that down for me.
So think of like the melancholic vocals, sometimes almost haunting,
Okay.
layered with electric guitars, bass, drums, but sometimes stripped back to just like acoustic guitar and vocals. It's really about capturing that raw emotion, but in this very kind of modern soundscape.
But it's like the heart of fado, but with the freedom of indie rock.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it.
Wow. Okay. So I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Tell me about these fake musicians.
Fake musicians. Well, they each have a unique backstory, right, that feeds directly into the music. So, for example, the lead vocalist
Okay.
is João
João.
from Portugal.
Okay.
And his story is, he grew up immersed in fado,
Mm-hmm.
performing in those traditional taverns, those little fado houses.
Mm-hmm.
But he brings in this indie rock edge to his performance style.
So he's like bridging the gap between the old and the new.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got Sofia, the violinist. She's from Brazil.
Yep.
She's got this incredible energy
Yeah.
and blends her classical training with kind of Brazilian folk and experimental indie rock.
Wow. Okay.
And
It's two very distinct backgrounds there.
it's very distinct. Yeah.
How does the AI bring those together?
Well, and that's what I find really impressive is
Yeah.
that the AI has actually managed to create a cohesive sound that really draws from each member's supposed background.
Right.
So it's not just about like throwing these different styles together.
Right.
It's about creating a fusion that reflects their diversity.
It's like they're a microcosm of globalization.
It is. It's like a little global musical experiment.
Yeah.
And they even have like, favorite quotes like João. One of his quotes is, "Saudade is a song the heart never stops singing."
Oh, wow. That's deep.
It's deep, right? It's like they're trying to give him these like deep artistic philosophies.
Wow.
And then you've got Layla.
Okay.
She's from Morocco.
Okay.
She plays the oud,
Oh, wow.
this ancient instrument. And her story is all about connecting those ancient melodies with modern compositions.
Interesting.
And then you have Nurin from Mongolia who
Yeah.
plays the cello,
Okay.
but incorporates Mongolian throat singing into her playing.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And then there's Erkki, who's the keyboardist from Estonia.
Mhm.
He creates these like haunting soundscapes.
Okay.
And then finally, you've got Oliver, the guitarist from the U.S., who brings in kind of Appalachian folk and blues influences.
So it really is like they've scoured the globe.
It's like a global musical tapestry,
Okay.
but it all comes together in this really interesting way.
So we have a band that's not a band.
Yeah.
They're from everywhere.
Yeah.
They've got these really rich backstories and this really incredible music, supposedly.
Yeah.
But they don't exist.
They don't exist. And to add to that,
Yeah.
even the album reviews, they're AI generated.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so they're attributed to Melodina, a.k.a. ChatGPT.
Okay, now my mind is officially blown.
It's a lot to take in.
So if a machine can create something this seemingly, deep,
Yeah.
what does that mean for us as the artists?
Right. And I think, we're going to have to dive into those reviews because there's some interesting stuff there. And then the question of what this means for human artists is a big one.
Yes, it is.
And I think we need to unpack that a bit more.
Okay, well, I am so ready to unpack it all, but
Okay.
we're going to do that in the next part of this deep dive.
Let's do it.
See you on the other side.
See you there.
All right, so last time we kind of left off with this whole AI-generated band.
Right.
And
It's a trip, isn't it?
it is a trip. So it's not just the music that's been AI-generated.
No.
It's
The whole thing.
the band, the backstory,
The bios, the
liner notes,
the reviews,
that everything.
everything. It's it really kind of makes you question
Yeah.
what creativity even means at this point.
I know, because it's like we're talking about these really rich backstories for these musicians, and then it's like, oh, wait, it's just an algorithm.
Yeah, does that make the backstories less meaningful?
Right.
Is it less powerful because it didn't come from a human brain?
Okay, so let's dive into some of those backstories.
Okay, yeah.
Let's start with João,
Well, okay.
the lead vocalist from Portugal.
Yeah, so he's the one who's, supposedly steeped in this fado tradition, performing in those, little fado houses.
Yeah.
But then brings in, indie rock influences and some folk influence.
So he's like bridging the old and the new.
Yeah, he's like this kind of bridge between the traditional and the modern.
That's cool.
And then you've got Sofia, the violinist.
Okay, Sophia.
Yeah, she's from Brazil. She brings this really vibrant energy to the group. She's got classical training.
Okay.
But she's also really into pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
So think Brazilian folk mixed with experimental indie rock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So two very different musical backgrounds.
That's very different, yeah.
So how does the AI even put that all together?
And that's what I think is so impressive is that it's not just a random mishmash.
Okay.
It actually feels cohesive.
It feels like it all belongs together, and it really does draw on each member's supposed background.
Right.
It's not just about their individual styles, but it's about how those styles come together.
It's like globalization, but in music.
It is, yeah, musical globalization.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's not just the music either. They have these little details, they'll give you each member's favorite quote.
Oh, okay.
João's is, Saudade is a song the heart never stops singing.
Right.
Which, again,
it's
deep, right? It's trying to give them these almost
personalities.
Yeah, personalities and deep artistic philosophies.
It's a little creepy.
It's a little creepy. Yeah, how much thought went into this?
Yeah, okay. Who's next?
So then you've got Layla from Morocco.
Okay.
She's the oud player. The oud, yeah. And her whole story is about connecting those ancient melodies with modern compositions.
That's pretty cool. And then you've got Nurin from Mongolia. She plays the cello, but incorporates Mongolian throat singing.
Okay, now.
That's pretty wild.
That's a wild combination.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And then you've got 𝗧𝗓𝗓.
𝗧𝗓𝗓,
yeah, he's the keyboardist from Estonia, and he creates these haunting atmospheric soundscapes.
Yeah.
And then finally you've got Oliver, the guitarist from the U.S., who brings in Appalachian folk and blues influences.
So they really have covered the globe.
They really have. It's they've taken a little bit from everywhere
Yeah.
and put it all together.
Okay.
And then on top of all of that,
Yeah.
you have the AI-generated reviews.
So let's talk about those reviews.
Let's talk about the reviews.
Because you said they were AI generated.
Yes, they're attributed to Melodina, aka ChatGPT.
So it's they've created this whole persona.
Yeah, it's like an AI music critic,
Right.
which is in and of itself kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
But the reviews themselves are actually pretty insightful. They go beyond just summarizing the music.
Okay.
They actually talk about the album structure, the themes, the musical choices.
So they're actually
They're engaging with it.
engaging.
Yeah, on a deeper level.
Wow.
For example, the English review, it describes the album as an immersive experience that bridges past and present, tradition and innovation, sorrow and acceptance.
Okay.
That's not just a surface level observation.
Right.
That's actually getting at the core of what this album is trying to do.
So it's almost as if the AI has understood the music on an emotional level.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing.
Okay, so we've talked about the band.
Yeah.
We've talked about the music.
The reviews.
The reviews, the backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the lyrics a little bit.
Okay, yeah, let's dive into the lyrics.
You were saying that there was, there's a lot of evocative imagery,
Oh, yeah.
especially in Act I, that kind of captures that longing.
That longing, yeah.
That,
So, like, for instance, in Saudade 𝗧�𝗓𝗏, there's a line that says, "My hand still calls for yours, and the wind still sings your light."
ooh.
Like, that's pretty evocative.
It is.
It's like a ghost of a touch.
Yeah.
You know? And then, in Act II, confronting the past, specifically in the song 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡 braço,
Yeah.
there's a line that just, like, rips your heart out. It says, "Goodbye, my love. When will I find you? If not in the afterlife, then let it be now."
Wow, that's heavy.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
And then, as we move into Act III, reflection.
Okay.
The lyrics become a little more introspective. So in the song Entre Sombras,
Yeah.
it says, "In the depths, you long to live, to awaken and rest. But first, you must relearn how to fly."
Ooh.
It's like this metaphor for, finding your way back to yourself after loss.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then in Act IV, healing and growth, the song 𝗬𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗓, here's this line. "It is a flood that comes and invades everything, from the plains of memory, a tsunami in everything, down to the smallest detail, like the tears of a flurry of snow."
That's powerful.
Yeah, it's like this feeling of, like, catharsis,
Yeah.
of letting the past wash over you.
And then finally Act V,
Act V, acceptance.
self-acceptance.
In the song 𝗧𝗓𝗓𝗏,
Hmm.
it says, "To live is to lose, I see. To live is to lose."
Oh, wow.
Which is simple but profound.
Temple and profound.
Yeah, and it's just like this reflection on the nature of life and loss.
Yeah.
And the fact that these lyrics were written by an algorithm.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing.
Where do we even go from here?
Yeah, where do we go?
What does this mean for the future of music? For art?
I don't know. I think that's something we're going to have to explore in our final part of this deep dive.
I think so, yeah. We need to unpack this a bit more.
So we've spent like the last hour or so just diving into this world of Alma Errante, and I have to say, I'm still processing it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Right.
It's a lot to process.
It's a lot to take in.
We've got this fictional band, incredible music, AI behind it all.
Yeah, it really is a unique project.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's, it makes me think, like, where does human creativity even begin and end in this?
Right. Like, where's the line?
Where's the line?
Is there a line?
Is there a line?
And I think that's what's so fascinating about this whole project is that it's really forcing us to confront those questions.
Right. And I think, for a lot of people, the knee-jerk reaction is going to be, oh, AI is going to replace human artists.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I don't know if it's that simple.
I don't think so either.
I think maybe it's more about, like, how can AI augment human creativity?
I like that, augment.
Yeah, how could it be a tool?
Yeah, like a collaborator.
Yeah, a collaborator.
Yeah, instead of a replacement. Yeah, because, we talk about those backstories that the AI created.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so maybe an AI came up with that, but it's still drawing on
Human experience.
human experience. It's drawing on
Human experience.
human experience. It's drawing on
Yeah, on culture.
music history.
Yeah, right.
Like all of these things that like we've created as humans.
Oh, data, right.
It's all data.
It's all data that's out there.
But it's still taking something that like humans built.
Right, and it's processing it.
And remixing it in a way.
Yeah, it's like a remix culture on steroids.
Right.
It's taking all these pieces and putting them together in new and interesting ways.
And that's kind of what like musicians have always done.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, every artist is influenced by
What
came before.
What came before.
They're taking those influences and they're doing something new with them.
Yeah. And so in a way, AI is just like kind of like the next step in that.
Yeah, it's like the evolution of that process.
So maybe instead of being afraid of it, we should be like excited about the possibilities.
I think so.
I think so too.
I mean, think about it, like, what if AI could help us break down creative barriers?
Yeah.
Like, what if it could help us to, like, come up with new melodies, new harmonies, rhythms that we wouldn't have thought of otherwise?
Or what if it could like, help us analyze music in new ways?
Oh, yeah.
Like break down a symphony?
Yeah, like deep dive into the structure, the theory behind it.
Yeah.
Like, that could be really, really cool.
Yeah, because then it becomes like a tool for learning.
Yeah, absolutely. For education, for
appreciation.
Yeah, for appreciation.
Like, imagine listening to, like, Beethoven's Fifth and having this AI companion that's like, okay, so here's what's happening.
Here's the motif, and here's how it develops, and here's the counterpoint. And it's like, it could open up whole new worlds of understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely concerns, right? Like,
Right, of course.
we have to be careful about, the ethical implications of all this.
Right.
And making sure that we're using AI responsibly.
Right.
But I think the potential is there for it to be a really positive force in the world of music.
I agree.
I think it could be really exciting.
So, okay, let's bring it back to Alma Errante.
Okay.
I mean, this is like a very specific example.
It is, yeah.
Of AI-generated music.
Yeah.
But it sparked this like whole conversation.
Right, and I think that's its legacy.
Yeah, what do you think is the legacy of this project?
I think it's going to be remembered as a turning point.
Okay.
Like a moment where we really started to grapple with what AI means for music.
Yeah.
And I think it's also a reminder that art doesn't have to come from a human to be meaningful.
Right, like whether it's AI-generated or human-generated,
Yeah.
It's still art.
It's still art.
It can still evoke emotions. It can still tell stories.
And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Is that it connects with us on a human level.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I would encourage everyone listening to actually go check out Caminho de Saudade.
Yeah, give it a listen.
Listen to it.
Form your own opinions.
Form your own opinions, because I think that's like the beauty of this is that it really does like...
It challenges you.
It challenges you.
It makes you think.
It makes you think.
It makes you feel.
Yeah.
And it's a really unique experience.
It is, and it's just the beginning.
Yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
So until next time, keep exploring.
Keep listening.
Keep listening.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning.
And keep an open mind.
Yeah, because the future of music is, well, it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be wild.
See you on the other side.
See you there.